What is up? So, this is the part of the chill method where we get to talk about leaning into pain. And that requires a little bit of trust and some serious faith energy. Not a little bit of trust, a lot of trust. So that's exactly what today's training is about. And I could not be more freaking excited to share this with you. Once you get to lean into pain and honor it with love, everything changes. Physiologically, you literally rewire your body's chemistry to not only step into a deep state of relaxation, but you can call on that anytime you want. So it's pretty radical. This is really where we get to actually transform, transmute, and it changes the whole trajectory of your life. So I want to dive right in. We're going to do this in kind of two different sections. The first part, I'm going to be going through kind of a foundation of, tapping into faith energy, leaning in to pain and trusting yourself and your body. The second piece is going to kind of go back and establish what it means to embody the feeling that you're trying to call in that you may not actually trust yourself to have yet, right? There's still a disconnect, and that's what causes the disease, the dis-ease. That's what causes the tension. That's what causes the inner conflict and the state of stress, right? Which is the opposite of chilling out, the opposite of relaxation, everything that we want, because from that place where we're relaxed, we're easing into our lives, we're easing into our body's blueprint, and it's harmonious there. And that is an exquisite state of health. And from that place is where we can not just hold our goals outside of ourselves as something that we have to strive and push for, but something that we get to call in now because we are embodying that version of ourselves first. And that's all going to make sense. And part of relaxing is really dropping the guilt and the shame, right, that we place around everything that we do, because our minds are constantly fixated on, I've got to get to the future result, because then I can feel happy, then I can relax, then I can feel excited, then whatever it is that you're going after, you think you have to achieve some certain level of success in order to have it, or goal, right? And so when you hold it outside of yourself, it causes all of this stress and turmoil, because you're constantly focused on the future. Focusing on the future is what anxiety is. And you also bring with it all of your past baggage that you may not even be aware of. And that's all the resentment. So with all that resentment and anxiety energy, you block faith. You block it. So we're going to unblock that today. Woo! Let's do it. Let's fire this bad boy up. So where do we start? Let's talk a little bit about faith. And I'm just going to make sure I'm recording. Booyah. Okay. Trust is something we can build, okay? And trust is also, it's like a muscle, right? It's like anything else. So what we want to try to do is we want to build our trust. We want to build our faith energy, that faith muscle. And it starts with leaning in to pain, knowing that pain is simply a measurement, not a measurement, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a signal, a red flag. So pain comes up. And when you feel pain, right, like our normal human response is like, oh, I'm drinking the best tea. Oh my God. If you don't know me, well, you guys know me. I'm tea obsessed. I'm tea, coffee, wine. I could give up anything else. Those three things are like my loves. Anyway, off the topic. Okay. So trust in the pain is kind of like, it's like a an opposite of what we would naturally want to do. We feel pain and we want to run from it. We want to avoid it, right? We want to hide from it. And pain is really an important indicator that something is out of balance, and it's an opportunity for us to look at it. Now, in this context, we're talking about pain, and it could be a physical manifestation, and it could also just be the emotional pain of something. And I want to speak more specifically to the emotional pain of things, because emotional pain is linked to physical pain in many cases. So what we want to do is actually look at pain and say, okay, if I look at this and I can step into this with trust, that's what I mean when I say lean in. We're going to get further into that. You've learned how to contemplate, right? You've learned how to heart amplify. You've learned kind of how to tap into your intuition. And now we're at this place where we can use those things. So what we want to do is we want to trust, we want to lean in, and we want to feel the pain and see that those shadows that are causing us pain actually contain our gifts. They can reveal our gifts, okay? All issues that we have as humans really come down to not trusting. That's really it, right? This is what causes the most turmoil, inner and external. So let's use our skill of contemplation. Okay, and I want you to journal on this. I'm going to prompt you right now. Contemplate what areas of your life feel uncomfortable right now. Now, remember, discomfort is something that is a gift, because if we were comfortable, then that means we're not growing. So if you're feeling discomfort and pain, it's an opportunity to take a look at it and reveal your greatest gifts in growth. That's the whole point. So that discomfort, you feel that way because you don't fully trust yourself, right? You're like, ooh, I feel uncomfortable. And your brain is like, yeah, that's scary. I don't know what's on the other side of that. Let me just throw up a bunch of excuses so that you can go and hide or run or ignore it or suppress it. Because looking at that, ooh, that's a little scary. And it's really like, I don't trust myself there. I don't trust that the unknown is going to reveal my growth and my gifts. So the question is, what areas of your life feel uncomfortable? Okay. If you did trust yourself, it wouldn't feel as uncomfortable. You may still feel the pain, which is just helpful feedback, but you wouldn't feel such uneasiness around it. You see where I'm going with this? You see the difference? So contemplate on that. And here's where we get to play. It's really a matter of, can you develop your trust muscle enough to say, I trust everything? What does that look like? That means that when you get hurt, trust that it's telling you something. When you get sick, trust that it's telling you something. When you see terrible things happening around the world, trust in the world. Look at history. Every terrible thing is followed by a great thing, followed by a terrible thing. And this is, can we trust in the fact that change is our only constant? When we can develop that deep sense of trust that all is changing, which means all is in balance, all will be well for whatever it is. We don't really have any control over it, right? But we do have control in the belief that it all will work itself out the way it's supposed to, the way that it is perfectly lined up for you. That the universe is actually here to support you in your greatest growth. So everything that shows up, including the pain, is there for a reason. All is simply just working itself out. And that's actually, ancient, like that's from the Tao, right? That everything simply is working itself out in a greater scheme of things. If we pull from other Eastern religions, it's like Dharma, right? Can you step into the belief that everything is just playing itself out perfectly for you, perfectly imperfect, because there's nothing really perfect, right? Especially about suffering, it's painful. Yet in each suffering, according to the concept of dharma is that inside suffering contains the perfect lesson for you, the perfect learning for you, as long as you're willing to lean in and sit with the pain so that you can heal it, rather than continue to pull the suffering with you because you're hiding from it or trying to avoid it, which means you don't take the learning. Here's the thing, you don't have to like it to trust it. That's one of my most powerful mantras. I'm constantly reminding myself that even when things feel really off and I'm really scared, or I feel really uncomfortable, or I'm experiencing something really deeply painful, I don't have to like it to trust it. I can still trust it. I can still tap into that faith energy and lean in and say, you know what? Breathe through this, Diane. To only trust the things that I like is actually really limiting me. And it keeps me in a very fearful and untrustworthy state. Okay. And I don't want to have that state of stress and disease. I want to be able to grow and expand. So when you find yourself, critical of something or of someone, or even of yourself, which girls, we do, right? Here's an opportunity to contemplate. What is it about this piece of yourself that you're hiding? What is it about this situation? What is it about this person that's making you feel uncomfortable or is putting you in pain? Trust it. Go with that. Trust the teaching that it's bringing you. For deep contemplation, right? Imagine you trusted absolutely everything. So I like playing this opposite game, right? Like imagine you just completely blindly trusted everything. Like you are 6 years old again, like you believe in Santa Claus, there's no question, you don't doubt it, you haven't developed doubt yet, self-doubt or doubt in anything else. You just trust. You don't have to see it to believe it. You know it, you feel it, and you trust it. Every second, absolute surrender that everything is in the moment exactly as it's supposed to be. Okay? Now, here's where you get to shift on a cellular level. Write this down and put a mental tattoo on this. This is key. Everything you need, you have right now in the present moment. Boom. That's trust right there. Because now you have literally dropped any expectation of some future outcome that you're trying to control. And you've released all the past stories. In this present moment, right in this moment, okay? I'm breathing. I'm alive. My heart is beating. I'm speaking. I'm communicating. It's 1:45 and I am safe in this moment. I have everything I need to be human and alive and well and functioning. I even have my tea. There's nothing else I need, right? To sustain my life and my existence in this moment. There's nothing else you need. Nothing in this moment. So if you move throughout every moment in the moment, the rapture of my tea. If you move through every moment in the moment, that's how you increase your faith muscle. Because you've dropped the future forecasting and the past baggage. You've dropped it. It's gone. You've released yourself from it. You're free from it. So all you have is this moment. Can you believe in this moment right in front of you? Can you believe that? Of course you can, because it's here, right? It's the now. That's it. Can you trust in your breath? Can you trust in your five senses? Yeah, of course, right? That is awakening. That is true self-realization, okay? And girls, it's super subtle. Like, how subtle is this? This is one of those things that's so easy to do. It's also really easy not to do. And since it's so subtle, it doesn't mean you don't have to do anything, okay? And here's another thing I want to stress. Like if someone comes at you with something you don't like, or you're experiencing pain and it feels really uncomfortable, or, like a thought that comes up and it feels icky, which we've talked about, then you get to trust in the response that comes up naturally for you. So again, you're not coming from this tense, stressed, reactive state. You have now relaxed into the blueprint of your life in the moment with trust. So that way you get to respond to something icky consciously. You get to work through your steps. Oh, this feels icky. Interesting. What thought created that body sensation, which has created the emotions of ickiness for me? Oh, it was that thought. Where does that thought come from? Oh, it was that belief. Oh, what could I believe now? And we're going to work through this a little bit later in the training, right? But you know this because we've practiced this already through contemplation and the heart amplification. So it's not that you're not doing anything. It's just simply stepping into more conscious responding rather than unconscious reacting. And that, to me, friends, is like the very definition of relaxing. I can consciously respond. I'm in alignment. My mind, my body, and my soul are going to respond. And guess what? Even if you react, you can still turn it around and take a look at it and go, oh, I see why I reacted. And then you can consciously respond to that reaction, right? So beautiful. Either way, it's showing up perfectly for you, right? And here's the thing. If you do react and you step back and say, oh, now how can I consciously respond? You've already upped your game, right? The next time you may not react as angrily or, get so like self-judgy. And that, again, also supports your adrenal glands, your parasympathetic nervous system, and it literally creates these neural pathways to your brain to consistently produce your healing chemicals for you. So every time you're tapping into this, you are physiologically shifting and adapting to its stimulus by creating a body, right? It's like you get to design your body from here on in, okay? Your body is not in someone else's control. Imagine that. Like, that's trust. Do you trust that with every conscious choice you make, you are actually designing your designer body to show up exactly how it's supposed to for you? To always be there for you, to just tell you like it is. I'm in pain. Trust that. I feel great. Trust that. I need vitamin C. Trust that. I'm really hungry right now. Trust it. I'm full. Trust that. I'm sleepy. Trust that. Right? So it's all in education, right? Just simply for us to learn, to grow, and to ascend into the deepest version of what our soul is intending for us. That's trust. When you surrender to that, life becomes pure fun. It's pure education, and that's really liberating. And when I say fun, I mean fun can be laughs and giggles and play, and fun can also be deep and meaningful and transformative, right? It's all liberating though. It's all liberating when you surrender to the trust that, you know what, I'm just here to learn and grow. That's it. And then you get to lighten up, which is what we're going to talk about next week. So again, to reiterate, trust is a very cellular experience. Okay. Let me explain that. A deep knowing and a deep relaxation in the cells of your body. Like trust is like very visceral. You come into this physical place inside each cell of your body. Like I am actually inhabiting my cellular structures. I am actually inhabiting my body. And that's what embodiment is, which we're going to get to at the end of the training. So it will come into your mental body, right? Like your brain will process this. Then into your soul, where your soul is going to feel it, express through it. And then when you anchor it into your physical form, into your physical body, that is the deepest place of transformation for you. Because again, like exquisite health is unlocked when you open up your cells' receptor sites to surrender and receive that and just have that faith. Everything just is about flow and balance from there. So when it's in perfect harmony, right, your nervous system is like, oh, I'm gonna re-assimilate, and from there, it doesn't disrupt the natural balance of your cortisol and your oxytocin and all of these things that as physiologists we call negative feedback. As you secrete one set of hormones or one hormone, you have to suppress another set, right? It's negative feedback depending what the body needs. And when we throw off that rhythm, everything gets shifted out of balance. What throws off that rhythm? A state of distrust. And so how do we restore that? We build the faith muscle. So when you practice this trust, you surrender. Surrender to what is. Accept it. You allow it. You relax. Okay, so what chemicals get released when you lean in to trust and to faith and to love? And maybe you've heard me talk about these chemicals before, but oxytocin. And you can actually create more of it. You can train your trust muscle, as I said, and develop more faith. And you literally get to build, right? You're designing your body. So you get to build your own oxytocin superhighway. And your body is doing that. And you create this deep sense of like calm and stability and warmth. And then what happens is your brain like layers that up by saying, oh, I'm actually going to also put in some dopamine so that you become addicted to the behavior that elicited this really feel good response. That's how you change a habit. If you want to build more faith and more trust, practice what I'm doing over and over again so that you create that deep groove from the DNA that's firing the message, right? DNA receives information from your external world, even within your own cellular structures, receives information and then sends the appropriate message to the brain for the brain to then make decisions about what to do inside the body. It's pretty simple. So once a message gets sent several times, the brain will secrete dopamine. And that really like irons in the habit because dopamine is addictive. So it's like, oh, I want to set this in on autopilot so that I can free up my energy to do other things, right? The brain requires a lot of energy. So it's trying to look for ways to put things on autopilot. So it creates that dopamine response so that you form a habit. Once that habit is formed, that neural pathway gets really, 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 really thickened with myelin, which is the protective coating, which makes that impulse happen faster and it ensures it happening always, right? Which is how things kind of slip from like conscious skill acquisition to like unconscious behaviors and patterns. So you want to break a behavior or pattern that isn't working for you, you pull it out. You shine a light on it. You trust the pain of doing that. Right? Because the pain is where the gift is. The pain is just your body recalibrating to a new thought, which is going to create a new belief, which is going to create a new behavior, which is going to create a new reality for you. And it's going to be the one that you design, not the one that you chose to take on pre 6 years old when you didn't even know what you were doing. You just took on a whole bunch of shit from your family, right? It's not even yours. Whew. Okay. So when you create this calm, when you're releasing this oxytocin, you literally, again, are in a relaxed state. And what that looks like in your life, and you'll know it, you'll see it. This is how you recognize it. When you stop chasing down goals externally, like, and have these huge ups and downs, right? Because you're depending on like, did I hit the mark? Did I get the approval of others? Did I get the money in the bank? Did I lose the weight on the scale? Did I have enough likes and comments on my social media? you're not going to have these highs and lows from all of this external validation, because you trust that where you're at is exactly where you need to be at. And you are producing that oxytocin from within. So you just get to feel stable. Amazing, right? Okay, little exercise. You're going to time hop back to, like pre-puberty. And I want you to journal on this. You're going to call upon a specific experience where you felt completely safe. Such a fun exercise. Journal out all the details, everything, okay? We can all call upon an experience when we were kids where we just felt like safe. Like, I'm drinking this tea right now and I'm like curled up in this very like Sherpa-y thing. And I'm like in my little home office and I have the heater going here. I have a candle going in the background. And I do all that because it helps me elicit feelings of like safety and also excitement, which is what I always like to be living in. That's what I embody. And I know that I can recreate that because I've time hopped back to periods where I felt like that, and I got really specific on the details so that I could create it. So that's why this exercise is really important for you. So pick a time, like a very specific time where you felt safe. Journal out all the details. Who was there? What were you doing? Where were you? What was said? What were you feeling? What were you thinking? What were the smells? What were you wearing? What food was there? That's a big one. Really think through. And you may even want to repeat this twice. So you can do the same thing and call upon another time in your life where you felt really safe. Okay, and go through those questions again. The next step is now to go back and look at that time hop, look at all the journaling, and circle all the feelings that came up for you. You're probably going to have a few that have repeated, right? How can you tap in and access those feelings all the time? And specifically, when you are feeling mistrust because of a thought you are thinking that's out of alignment, how can you use those past events to create that experience for you again and stimulate that, like that self? It's all self-care. And now we're going to get into exactly how we're going to do that, because this is what embodiment is. And this is how, again, you really step into a deep place of trust. And it's so much fun. Like, how much fun is this work? How to develop the deepest sense of trust in your life. Think about that. Like, this is what we get to do. How freaking lucky are we? This is our life. This is amazing, right? Life gets to live through you, right? Life gets to be lived for you. Okay? It's not meant to be resisted or battled or crushed. Like, I'm gonna go crush it. Every moment gets to be so good as long as we just choose that, right? I personally stepped into this realization after so many years of fighting everything, trying to make things work, trying to control every outcome. My finances, my marriage, my weight. And I was hiding, like wearing all these masks, trying to show up in a way that I thought that people would accept me, proving and sacrificing my soul, just so that I could achieve an external result. So I could say, like, I'm the best. So therefore I can be loved. I'm worthy. And I was so focused on all this stuff and like convinced that, oh, when I achieve all that, then I'll be happy. And all the while I was like killing my moments, killing my joy, killing my body. I can speak to this. I've lived through this, right? I buried my soul for years. So worried about making shit happen in the future and carrying a ton of suffering around from my past. And it dictated all of my choices, right down to the foods that I ate and how I ate them. And that was the old me. Like, now I see that every time I step into the present moment, I'm safe. That's it. Nothing from my past can cause me suffering in this moment, right? Like, think about this. We've all sprained our ankles, right? And if you think of like, oh yeah, I sprained my ankle, and you can remember the pain of it, but you can't actually recreate that pain inside your body. Your body won't allow that. You can just remember the experience of it. But the thing with emotions is that we constantly think of like the most painful thing that ever happened to us emotionally, and then we actually attach ourselves to it as if it is happening to us now, and then our bodies don't know the difference and go right into that emotional response. The flip side is we get to do it for the good stuff too. So why not just choose to do the good stuff, right? The stuff that makes us feel good, the stuff that is in alignment. Okay, so in the present moment, here's another golden nugget. You get to be you, like completely free. Because in the present moment, like we said, you're safe, which means there's no comparison game. There's no, oh my gosh, do I need to have this approval from others? You just are, right? Okay, so one more little exercise to step into faith energy right now, because that's what we're trying to do. And then I'm going to end with embodiment. So I want you to stop, just put down your pen and notice your breath. Now, since we've been doing a training, it might be okay, but you can take this exercise and snap this into like a regular day. Like, you know, you guys have heard me talk about don't miss dusk, but usually that's like our like cortisol shot busiest time of the day, frazzled, freaked, and just like intense pain, all this gookiness happening inside our bodies. That would be a great time to do this exercise. But right now, stop, notice your breath. Is it short? Is it really shallow, what I call like vertical breathing, which is kind of all up here in the upper part, upper lobes of your lungs? Is it out of sync? Right? Sometimes we don't even realize, like, we may take a deep breath, a few shallows, and then like not even take a breath for a few seconds. And then all of a sudden it's like, here's the thing, your breath is your life, right? You are alive because you breathe. Duh. And if your breath is life, if your breath represents your life and your breathing is not in sync, is not flowing, guess what? The best indicator, again, your body just is. Your body's like, hey, here, your breath is out of flow, your life is out of flow. Because without breath, there is no life, right? And it seems too simple, but that's the truth. Okay? It's cliche for a reason. Don't gloss over that. Don't ignore that. Come back and tap into your breath at any moment during the day, and you see it's arrhythmic or, you know, dysrhythmic, which means you're like stopping and then you have to restart, or that it's just super shallow. What can you learn from that? Right? The other key here is that noticing your breath, as you just did, brings you into the now immediately. Boom. Right? And now you can heart amplify, right? You can go into heart amplification from here. Notice the body part. Come into that body awareness. Go inward. How does it feel? Consciously send nourishing blood there. Sometimes I do that if I have some muscle tension. So I notice my breathing, and then I do my body awareness exercise. I focus on a body part. I'm going to go in, oh yeah, I feel really tight in my shoulder. And I'm going to send nourishing blood there. Okay, I'm going to picture it. Really picture it. And then I'm going to circulate that energy all around. I'm going to heart amplify. From there, again, you can come back into that present. You're in the present moment. So you're in faith energy. You can open your eyes, and you can, again, I invite you to do this right now. Notice something in your environment right now. Like, I've done this whole talk. What have I done? Brought myself right. I'm so present right now. I'm so in the moment. And I'm like, I allow my senses of taste and smell to really keep me grounded in the second. The details in your presence, take them in. Maybe you notice a bird outside. Or you know what? Sometimes I'm driving and I just go, I just smile. Just feel that. Like, what does that feel like? Boom. It brings you right into the instant moment. And just take it in. And then if you see a thought come in, right, you notice the thought, tune in and get to know and understand yourself a little bit more, right? The more you understand yourself, like, oh, isn't that interesting? Here, then this thought comes in. What triggered that thought? Did anything external trigger this thought in me? Did it just come? Like, where did it just come as a divine download? Maybe it's a brilliant idea, or maybe it was a bad thought, but it came in because the universe is like, hey, learn this lesson. There's a little bit of pain. Learn the lesson. Learn the lesson. The more you understand and accept yourself, the more you are in your life, right? The more you trust. The more you trust. Because at the end of the day, you have every single thing you need. Every single thing you need to be vibrant, strong, healthy, super freaking human. We are born with that. We are born with all of those capabilities. We are born with every single emotion. It's a matter of trusting that it's all there for you. And in this way, you always create your own experience. And you can wrap that up in appreciation, right? If I'm feeling definitely like stepping into that anxious energy, that's something that I know snaps me right out of it, is going, okay, I can actively appreciate the beating of my own heart right now. It's amazing. And then I get to see that push kind of fade down, right? I get to see like, okay, the struggle, that's going to stop. And if you practice this enough, it becomes your natural state of being, right? Like I said, you know when your blueprint within your DNA, right, is activated and gets you to this place of deeper relaxation into who you really are in every moment. You stop chasing like your unique self, and then you just stop. Like it doesn't even matter. You stop chasing someone else's blueprint. When you begin to relax and you relax into your life, you get to create all of this space in your world that is your unique experience, right? Like, here's something radical to think about. How do we know the color blue is the color blue? Like, who defined that? Somebody taught us that, like, they pointed at a square and it was a color and they said, this is blue. But what if I see that color and I see it as pink, right? Your version of pink, I see as blue. We don't know. It's our own unique experience. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm driving at. So how could you possibly take on somebody else's blueprint? You can't ever, ever, ever truly see what they see. You can only see through what you see. So own that and step into the trust of that. When you have that light bulb go on and you recognize that, like, I can only see through my eyes what I see, then it becomes really funny. And again, we're going to talk about this when we talk about lightening up next week. It becomes really funny that we're like, oh, I'm so concerned with what she thinks. Oh, I need my parents' approval for this. Oh, I have to show up and prove myself in this way so that other people think I'm desirable and lovable. But what's their definition of that? It's not going to be the same as yours. So why even bother, right? And it's like, oh, don't you feel that chase energy, that stress, that struggle, that pain, just that competition start to just dissipate? And you have all this space, that space that was taken up by that anxiety. You totally have liberated that shit and opened it up for creativity, innovation, alliances and partnerships that serve you and serve them. That's faith energy. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I love that, right? Okay, I'm going to wrap up. Now, how do we embody this? Let's go back, and we are talking about leaning into the pain so that we can uncover our shadows and step into our gifts. So how do we do this moment to moment? And I talk a lot about embodiment. So I'm going to actually define what embodiment is, because again, it's visceral. It's a biological situation. So when you were creating the scenario of safety, right? When I asked you to time hop, go back to a time where you felt safe. I asked you to circle a few of the feelings. And here's how we get to embody it. Embodiment, okay, it stimulates a massive flow, like it's massive stimulation of your parasympathetic nervous system when you embody a feeling that is in alignment with your soul. You literally go into rest and relax. How do you know it's there? Because you will feel muscle tension release, eyes dilate, heart rate come down, breathing rate more deep and rhythmic. Whereas you may always feel kind of hungry, you notice you're like, I feel satisfied in my belly, right? That's when you're in rest and relax. That's when your parasympathetic nervous system is up. You do that often enough, guess what's going to happen? Your hair starts to shine. Your skin starts to glow. Your teeth actually are like whiter. The whites of your eyes are whiter. People are like, what did you do? Did you get a different shampoo? And it's like, nope. I'm constantly restoring my cells. So of course I look better. Of course my hair is shiny. Of course my body's working this way. You just get to trust that it is. Of course it's going to work to your best interest. Why wouldn't it? So, okay. There are basically three things that are required. Like embodiment on a biological level requires three things. First, it's identifying the feeling that you want in specific detail. And this is, again, that feeling that like you think, oh, when I get da-da-da-da-da-da, then I can feel that way. Nope. So go back, whatever you circled, if you circled something a few times, or if you just know, like the feeling that you're after, call it now, claim it now. That's absolutely required when we're trying to embody something. We have to be able to identify it in fine detail. We have to then be able to choose it. That's two, right? We have to claim it. We have to choose it in the now. And then we have to internally, once we claim it, internally align it over and over and over again. Independent, right? It's an internal claiming. It's independent of any external experience or result. So we choose it, we identify it in specific detail, okay? We choose it now, we claim it internally, and then we align with it over and over and over again in every moment. How are we going to do that? I got a few steps for you, so we're going to work through this exercise. Step one, what feeling are you calling in? So you go back to that exercise, we did the time hop, what feeling are you calling in? I'll give you an example. So for me, the feeling that I'm calling in is anticipation. It's actually one of my gifts. One of my shadows is fantasy. Like I was such a big dreamer and I was fantasized about things, but I would like just be off kind of wishing and hoping that something would happen someday. Whereas anticipation is the deep knowing that it already happened and then I'm just pulling it in. And that's a gift of mine. It's like, I don't just dream. It's like I step into a knowing and I expect that the thing I'm aligning with is already coming my way. But it's constantly pulling myself out of that, oh my God, I'm not sure if it's going to happen, fantasy world. So the feeling that I am always looking for that makes me feel alive and safe and wonderful and relaxed is anticipation. Okay, so you pick your feeling, right? Once you know what that is, the next question is, what are the emotions you experience when you're feeling it, right? You have to get, so it's the feeling, but then what emotions does it elicit for you? So I'm after this feeling of anticipation. So what are the emotions that it evokes in me? Excitement, enthusiasm. You just saw me, right? Like happy and confident. Next thing, what are the body sensations you have when these emotions are evoked? So then you're going to recognize it in your body. This all sounds familiar because this is actually like reverse engineering every time you have an icky thought, and we're going to get to this, right? What are the body sensations? What is showing up for you physically? So for me, if I'm in a state of anticipation, I feel my shoulders relax. I do feel my pupils dilate because I'm like, I feel more focused with my brain. I feel like deep, stable breathing. I feel energized, right? I like that there's no exhaustion there. I have this fullness in my belly that's not bloated. That's just like anchoring, like just I'm good. I have enough energy. I have enough nutrients to sustain me and have any body pains. And one of the things I know that I notice when I'm in that state of anticipation is like, I don't have any body temperature issues. I always tend to be cold. Like when I'm in this place, I'm not too hot. I'm not too cold. Like I feel balanced. Okay. Number 4, what are the thoughts that provoke that feeling you're after? Right? So let me use my example, right? I'm after anticipation. Okay. So what makes me feel like I am anticipating this wonderful outcome coming? I know it like I know Christmas is coming, and I get to be super excited about it, and I get to feel good in my body for it. What are the thoughts that provoke that? Well, when I start to think about working with a soul-aligned company in a retreat, yeah, awesome. When I think about witnessing a client's transformation, oh, yes. When I think about, oh my gosh, I'm like creating content that really serves my tribe, like really helps them. Think about how confident and happy my daughter is growing into being. How I love myself enough to, holy shit, it's snowing. Oh my God, it's snowing. How I love myself enough to invest in myself and being able to do what I do, right? So what are the thoughts that create that feeling for you? Number 5, what are the beliefs that these shape for you? You see how we're kind of going like in this reverse, right? Like, so now remember, a belief rather, is just a thought that you keep thinking over and over again. So we want to have this feeling. We know the emotions that are there. We know the body sensations that are there. We know the thoughts that can create that. And if we keep thinking them over and over again, your body is going to set this up into a belief and into a pattern of behavior. And it's like going to become just like, I just know things are happening the way that they're gonna, and I trust that, and I'm in anticipation, and whatever that is for you that makes you feel safe and grounded and happy, right? So what are the beliefs? For me, it's like, okay, like I said, knowing that what I am manifesting, it's already done. Done. That's a belief that makes me feel excited, right? Expecting that what is in alignment for me is on its way. And that what isn't in alignment is something I'm going to repel. Even if it doesn't feel right, if I repel it, it's right. What are the other beliefs? Knowing that it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to take a long time. That being me is my purpose, right? So what are the beliefs that these thoughts shape for you, right? So if you're thinking these thoughts over and over again, then what do you start to believe? Write them down. You want to identify it. Okay, step 6. We're almost done here. I'm going to wrap this up. This is fun. Build a list. I love this. Based on the thoughts that you just wrote down that are provoking this feeling you want, that you're after, build a what if list. Okay? Build a what if list. We always go to the place of fear, right? We're really freaking good at this. Oh my God, what if the money doesn't come in? Oh my God, what if I can't pay my bills? Oh my God, what if I die? Oh my God, what if and it's always like we catastrophize everything. Well, why don't you play the what if game if what if really good shit happened? What if, like, so for me, it's like, what if I contract a new soul aligned company today? Instead of going, what if I don't get anybody to respond to my emails? What if nobody answers me? What if I don't have anybody in the funnel? What if I signed up 5 new soul aligned clients this week? Wow. What if I land an international speaking gig today? Like, what if I get that call today? You see how excited I am, right? Even just going this like what if. So create your what if list. And then number 7, which you've heard me talk about before, which is going to bring it back full circle. Do the icky or awesome test all day long. In every moment, this is the micro aligning. It's up to you, right? Just to notice, oh, I'm feeling icky. Okay. Then you're not in tune with the feeling that you desire, right? So you get to change that. Now you have a specific aim. Now you're in the moment. Now you have trust. All you can do is go, I trust myself enough, pull myself into the moment, pull out the thought that caused that. Ooh, icky. Pause. Breathe. Honor it. That's key. Honor it as the fear that is coming up just to protect you, and just let your scared self know, like, my motto is like, Diane, I got your back. I got your back. It's okay. I'm here and I got your back. Okay. Send it some love. That's all it needs. Then ask one of your what if questions. What if it gets to be so friggin' easy? What if it gets to be so good? Allow it to flood your body, okay, with the sensations and the emotions, because the feeling is just the feeling. We embody it with the body sensations, embodiment, and emotions, which is the visceral experience of your feeling. And then you're going to move. You're going to move. How? Doesn't matter. Whatever speaks to you, you're going to sway. You're going to dance. You're going to sing. You're going to go for a walk. You're going to just something. That's embodiment, because you want to get that cellular movement. We want to get that dopamine and adrenaline. We want to get that response going. Faith energy, friends. Good shit right there. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. And I'm going to go right back into being in the moment with my tea. And I have to go pick up my daughter from school in the snow. Oh my God, it's only November. All right. Peace out. Much love.